peekaboo!
Welcome to the undiscovered corners of Hotel Transylvania. From its all-star voice cast headlined by Selena Gomez, Adam Sandler, and Andy Samberg, as well as the lovable monsters and the unique world they live in, the Hotel Transylvania films have given us plenty of spooky, silly fun. A lot went into creating this franchise that has won over the hearts of fans of all ages, and some of it was never even able to reach the big screen.
Welcome to Hotel Transylvania!
The opening of Hotel Transylvania almost began a couple years earlier. An alternate opening, nicknamed Love at First Bite, featured Dracula meeting his beloved Martha and the story of how they fell in love, leading up to the birth of their daughter Mavis. While the opening doesn't go full up and reveal Martha's passing, the alternate opening certainly tugs on the viewer's heartstrings. That being said, it's easy to see why this scene was left on the cutting room floor, as it would have taken away from the emotional impact of the reveal of Martha's fate later in the film.
And it was no mystery who killed her.
In a montage that would have played towards the beginning of the first film, we see several of the monstrous guests pack up their suitcases and leave their homes for a relaxing trip to Drac's hotel. Among the travelers are Frankenstein and his wife Jonas, traveling inside heavy suitcases from their decaying windmill home. Murray sneaking out of his pyramid, a bug-like monster creeping out from the English sewers, and Mr. Foot trying to blend in with his surroundings during his travels. This scene may be creative, but it simply does not add anything to the film's plot and was likely cut out to help make the film's pacing tighter. Though this scene did end up making the teaser trailer.
Tired of the same old vacation spots?
This deleted scene from Hotel Transylvania 2 features a commercial for humans promoting their titular hotel, taking pride in the truce between monsters and humans. The commercial is hosted by a fly monster who expresses to a confused human family about how all the hotel's amenities, as well as talking about how monsters have been integrated into the human world, including Griffin, the Invisible Man, hosting a workout video, and Mr. Foot being a star in the German Soccer League. While this scene does serve as some effective exposition, the sequel eventually figures out a more effective way at letting the audience know about what has changed since we last saw the Drac pack.
Happen on!
This deleted scene from the first Hotel Transylvania may have had Andy Samberg burst into a rap using his Lonely Island chords. The scene would have had Johnny offering his take on more modern and hip music for Mavis's 118th birthday, with a rap that gives a hip-hop spin to the spooky inhabitants of the titular hotel. As fun as it may have been to see Samberg bring some of his Lonely Island flavor for a scene in the film, it's not hard to see why this did not make the final product, as it doesn't complement the genuine and sweet nature of the film as a whole. Since Murray's voice actor in the first film was CeeLo Green, the team behind the film wanted to put the singer's vocal cords to good use. Originally, Murray was supposed to have a song and dance number along with his backup singers known as the Mumettes. The actual song that Murray and his bandaged, wrapped accompanists would have sung has not been revealed, but it surely had to have been something spooky. Selena Gomez has been an active part of the franchise since the first film in 2012, but before she was cast in the role, another Disney Channel icon turned global superstar almost took on the role of Drac's daughter Mavis, Miley Cyrus.
What?
Cyrus was originally announced to be voicing the character of Mavis, but was eventually fired from the project after photos surfaced of her doing some activities that were not particularly family-friendly. The studio and Cyrus eventually announced that she would no longer be voicing Mavis, and that replacing her would be Gomez. Looking back at the movies now, Gomez definitely seemed like the perfect fit for the role. They even look alike.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun.
It's become commonplace for actors to come and go from the franchise. While singer Ceelo Green initially provides his voice for the role of Murray the Mummy in the first film, for the second, third, and fourth films, he was replaced by Keegan Michael-Key. Even two of the biggest marquee names of the Hotel Transylvania franchise didn't return for the fourth film, Transformania: Adam Sandler and Kevin James. Voice actors Brian Hull and Brad Abrell eventually were cast to replace Sandler and James in the roles of Dracula and Frankenstein. Thankfully, Hull and Abrell are also impressionists, and were able to give voices that sound almost exactly like the voices of Sandler and James. One wouldn't typically expect family films populated by kooky and silly monsters to attempt to strive for accuracy, but you would be surprised. The town that the hotel is located in was directly influenced by Wallachia, Bulgaria, the birthplace of the inspiration behind Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. While obviously there's no real hotel for monsters in the historical village, the film's architecture is heavily lifted from the town. Mavis and Jonathan's precious son Dennis is notable for his poofy red hair, but it was almost even more wild in the original designs. The animation team then realized the circumference of the original design for the hair was too big to even be functional, and would have meant that his parents' arms would need to be double the length in order to even pick him up. This led the animation team to eventually trim Dennis's hair to a more sustainable look.
I got a candy!
Though Dennis walking around with an abnormally large red set of hair would have been quite amusing to watch. One of the biggest challenges the Hotel Transylvania crew faced while making the film was animating the Kraken at the end of the third film's summer vacation. The team had to build 3 different Krakens, the first being the standard model, the second being one that was required for when the sea monster performs the Macarena, and the third being what was dubbed a stunticle, that had texture and look dev that would hold up during close-up shots. Much of the zany cast of characters in the Hotel Transylvania are directly inspired by the actors who voice them. The looks of Dracula, Mavis, Jonathan, Frankenstein, Wayne, Van Helsing, and Jonas are directly taken from the actors who voice them. Adam Sandler, Selena Gomez, Andy Samberg, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi, Jim Gaffigan, and Fran Drescher. No wonder they look so familiar. Meanwhile, for the other characters, such as Murray the Mummy and Griffin the Invisible Man, the character design team had to get a bit more creative. Quite a bit went into creating the character of Vlad, voiced by the iconic Mel Brooks. Vlad's head shape was designed to look like a coffin, a callback to the tradition that vampires sleep in coffins. For the aging vampire's home, initially the team debated about having the character live in a dark and foreboding castle, like something out of the classic vampire movies. Ultimately, the team went with a cave to show just how secluded Vlad had become from civilization. You know, classic vampire things. If the Legacy cruise ship in the third film, Summer Vacation, looks familiar to you, that's because the ship's design is directly influenced by the infamous RMS Titanic. From the ship's black, white, and red color scheme to the funnels on the top, the ship clearly resembles the well-known, dreaded ocean liner, more so than the modern ones that the audience is typically used to. Adam Sandler is known for including his real-life family in plenty of his comedies, and that's no different with Hotel Transylvania. Sandler's wife, Jackie Sandler, lended her voice to Drac's late wife, Martha, while his daughters, Sadie and Sunny Sandler, have voiced both Mavis as a child, as well as Wayne and Wanda's werewolf pups. The Sandlers have to stick together. Since Genndy Tartakovsky has had much experience with 2D animation, he used the Hotel Transylvania films to pay tribute to the Tex Avery cartoons that he grew up with. The biggest challenge with this method was how to take the organicness of 2D that has no rules attached and meld it with computer animation, which has more restrictions. The Hotel Transylvania films have provided audiences of all ages with plenty of fun, and the franchise has certainly come a long way since the first film premiered back in September of 2012. Which Hotel Transylvania movie is your favorite?